Thank you, Chairwoman Sheen. And Director Wray, it's good to see you here again. I'd like to turn my comments to something very disturbing that's happening right now with respect to the Supreme Court justices. And what we've seen in recent weeks are protests at the homes of Supreme Court justices and their families, something that I think that should be completely out of bounds. It also may be illegal. Federal law prohibits protesting at the residence of a judge with the intent of influencing the judge. And many of the protesters are doing just that, protesting outside judges' homes, attempting to intimidate them, I think, into changing their ruling on the Dobbs case. So, Director Wray, is the FBI in any way investigating these protesters as a potential crime?
So I don't want to get into any particular predicated assessment or investigation that we may have ongoing right now. I will say that we're working very closely with the U.S. Marshals, who, as you may know, are now providing round-the-clock security at the justices' homes, and with the Supreme Court Marshal and Supreme Court Police. Together, they have responsibility for protection of the judges themselves and their facilities. But I will tell you this, my view and my instructions to the FBI are that there is a right way and a wrong way in our system and under the Constitution to express what you're upset about and who you're upset with. And violence and threats of violence, no matter what you're upset about or who you're upset with, is not the way to go.
I couldn't agree with you more.
We will pursue all lawful, predicated investigations we can to ensure that.
The U.S. Supreme Court Police recently reported, I'm going to use their quote, a significant increase in violent threats to your concern against Supreme Court justices and the Supreme Court building. And as FBI Director, it sounds, and I just wanted you to confirm that you've received information that the Supreme Court and its members are facing elevated threats that do warrant increased security, intelligence, and intelligence resources.
As I said, we're in close contact with them, receiving tips and leads and things like that from them, and without, again, weighing in on what in the way of assessments and investigations we have open. But my charge to our people is that we are going to aggressively pursue violence and threats of violence against public officials, including against judges.
I appreciate that, Director Wray, and I think I share your concerns, and I think that many on our committee. I am working here on our side to make certain that, along with the extra help that the U.S. Marshals are providing right now, that if there's any shortfall in monetary resources needed, particularly in the very near term, to make certain that the justices and their families are properly protected, that we address that, because heaven forbid these threats turn into or manifest themselves into the violence that I think concerns us both. I'd like to turn to another issue now that's at our southern border, specifically the case of a Colombian national named Isnardo Garcia Amado, who recently crossed our southern border and who was flagged by the FBI Terrorist Screening Center. He was released by Border Patrol agents into the United States on April the 18th. Then on April the 21st, 3 days after his release, the FBI alerted the Department of Homeland Security that this man was on the terrorist watch list. You'd think that DHS would have then immediately arrested this person, yet despite knowing that a suspected terrorist had been released in the United States, the leadership of the Department of Homeland Security didn't even authorize ICE to arrest him until 2 weeks later. He was in Florida by that time. So this Colombian national was caught by DHS and then released into the United States before the FBI determined that he's on the terrorist watch list. Is that your understanding as well?
I will confess, Senator, that I'm not sure I'm familiar with the specific case. It has a vague ring of familiarity from something I got briefed on, but I think I would have to circle back to you, which I'm happy to do.
I'd appreciate that. You can see my concern, though. And I guess my broader question is, in your view, if this were to happen, does that jeopardize American safety to catch and release border crossers before the FBI has had the opportunity to make that determination as to whether or not they're terrorists?
Well, certainly, I think we need to have close lash-up between FBI agents on the Joint Terrorism Task Forces, especially in the border states, with their DHS counterparts who have a very tough job, those folks, those CBP folks down on the line there that I've met with. And they usually have people designated on our task forces, which is designed in part to prevent some of the slippage.
No, that slippage is a great concern. Even further concerning is DHS taking 2 weeks after receiving information from the FBI to actually notify us to arrest a person. I mean, does that concern you as well as slippage that could, again, endanger American safety?
Well, I certainly understand the concern. I think I would need to kind of drill in further on the facts to make sure I've got the full context.
I would appreciate that. And also, when you come back to me, if you could let me know how many border crossers have been apprehended that are on the national terrorist list. I'm deeply concerned about this. When I went to the border myself about 6 weeks ago, I was informed that 157 different nationalities have been apprehended at our southern border in the past year. That's a deep, deep national security concern, and I would very much appreciate your following up with me in terms of what's known, and also if you have any estimates on what's not known, because I would think that's an even greater concern. Are those people that are coming here using the border, as Senator Moran talked about, for some very nefarious purposes? Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Hagerty. Senator Capito.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Director, for being with us today.